You think a mirror near your bed is bad feng shui? Try sleeping next to this. It glows, it hums, and it messes up your peaceful flow more than you think. It's not some haunted object. It's something we charge every night, and it drains more than just battery. So, you did everything right. No clutter under the bed, no mirror across the room. You even burned sage last week just in case. But still, your sleep feels off. Heavy, like your body rests but your energy doesn't. And maybe, just maybe, it's not what's around the bed. It's what's glowing right next to your pillow. That tiny square thing with a cord? Yeah, that. Before we begin, if you've ever felt wired but tired, if you wake up feeling like you didn't really rest, this might be your flow clue. This episode is part of our Everyday Feng Shui series, where we fix tiny habits that quietly mess with your money, peace, and sleep. So hey, comment below. Do you sleep next to your phone? Or something that glows? I'd love to know how your bedroom feels at night. And don't skip the end, because I'll walk you through 3 simple actions to reset your feng shui flow starting tonight. It's not what's under your bed, or even across the room. The real energy leak, it's glowing right next to your head. Most people blame mirrors or clutter, but honestly, it's your backup battery, your nightlight, your wireless charger blinking softly in the dark. These little things seem harmless, but they shift your bedroom's entire frequency. I didn't even realize how much tech was piling up around my bed. My nightstand looked like a mini charging station. Phone blinking, battery pack glowing faintly red, smartwatch vibrating now and then. Honestly, it felt convenient, but energetically, it was chaotic, like weirdly buzzing, almost too alive for a place meant for rest. And hey, I know I'm not the only one. We all do it, because somehow we think it's just a light, just a cord, just one more device. But in Feng Shui, your bed isn't just where you sleep. It's where your spirit goes to recharge. And if the space around it is lit up like a tiny airport runway, how can you expect your energy to actually land and settle? You might not notice it at first, but over time, your sleep gets lighter. You dream more vividly, wake up more often, and feel strangely unrested. Like your body slept, but your spirit didn't. Okay, here's what I want you to try tonight. And it's way simpler than you think. Take every glowing thing off your nightstand. Seriously. Phone, charger, watch, lamp gone. Put your phone on airplane mode and place it face down, at least 3 feet away. That's about an arm's reach if you stretch out. Honestly, the first time I did it, I felt weirdly exposed. Like, whoa, silence is louder than I thought. But the room suddenly felt softer. Still, even the air felt calmer, like your energy field finally had room to stretch. If you need some kind of light, switch to a super warm tone salt lamp, one with dim settings, or even a flicker mode. No more cold LEDs near your head. Let your nervous system wind down the way it's meant to. In darkness, in stillness, with 0 interruptions. So, my friend Rachel, she's in her 50s. Sweet soul, super sensitive to energy. She kept telling me, every night around 3 a.m. I wake up. No reason, just wide awake. At first, we joked. Maybe it was hormones or her cat jumping on the bed. But Something didn't sit right. One evening, I visited her place. Her nightstand was loaded, phone charging, fitness tracker blinking, a diffuser with this intense blue LED, and get this, a backup battery with a tiny screen constantly glowing green. I was like, "Whoa, Rach, your bedroom looks like a spaceship." We laughed, but then I asked her to do one thing, to move everything tech-related to the dresser across the room, just for 3 nights. Try it, no pressure. The next morning, she texted me, I actually slept, like, deeply. The room felt soft. I didn't even realize how tense I'd been sleeping. And that was it. She never put the stuff back. Rachel told me later, it's not just sleep, it's peace. Like my room doesn't argue with me anymore. And honestly, that hit deep. Because yes, she still had bills, still had noise outside her apartment. But weirdly, inside her room felt like a reset. The buzzing was gone. Everything just slowed down. And her dreams? They stopped chasing her. She said they flowed like gentle waves instead of storms. Just because something's quiet doesn't mean it's peaceful. Let's shift deeper. Next one's even sneakier. It looks gentle. It feels helpful. But this tiny glow, it's messing with your inner dark. We think dim lights are okay. Those soft motion sensors, the warm-toned smart bulbs. But hey, even low light triggers alert mode in your brain. Your body thinks it has to stay semi-awake. So yeah, that comfort glow, it might be stealing your calm without saying a word. I really thought I was being smart. A motion sensor nightlight that turns on when I move? Sounds helpful, right? Especially for those late-night bathroom runs. But, oh gosh, I didn't realize how often it was actually flashing on. Like, every small toss, every blanket pull. Boom, this soft yellow glow right into my eyes. It wasn't bright, but it was enough. Enough to nudge me awake just a little. Enough to pull me out of my sleep cycle. Enough to make my room feel unsettled. Honestly, it became a habit. I didn't even question it. Until I noticed I was waking up groggy, even though I technically slept 8 hours. Something felt off. And in Feng Shui, that kind of low-level disturbance, it slowly ungrounds your qi. Your body can't fully drop in because your space keeps whispering, "Be alert." I started waking up more. Not fully, but just enough. Like drifting up from a dream for no reason. And weirdly, I began feeling more anxious during the day. Like I hadn't fully landed from the night before. My nervous system? Still buzzing quietly in the background. So, I did one thing that honestly felt kinda weird at first. I unplugged the motion light. Just click off. No replacement, no dim bulb, nothing. Just me and the dark. At first, oh man, it felt unsettling. I kept waiting for something to glow, like my brain was trained to expect that little flash. But after a few nights, my whole room felt still. Not dead silent, but peacefully quiet. The kind of quiet that wraps around you, like a blanket with weight. Then I got a soft beige lamp, the kind you switch on manually like old school, and I placed it across the room, far enough that it didn't reach my face. I only turned it on if I really needed it. No more auto anything. And just like that, my nervous system exhaled. I didn't realize how on edge I'd been, until that light was finally gone. My cousin Linda had this smart bulb she loved. It changed color throughout the evening. Amber after 9 p.m., then red glow after 10. She'd say, "It helps with melatonin." And honestly, it sounded legit. But one night, while staying over at her place, I noticed how the room still had this faint red pulse. It wasn't blinding or anything, just softly glowing from the corner. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling. My eyes kept catching it. My mind kept flickering with it. I whispered, kinda sheepish, "Hey, have you ever tried sleeping without it?" And she laughed. "You mean pitch black? No way." But the next week she texted me. "Okay, weirdly. I think that little light was messing with me. I turned it off completely, and now I sleep hard. Like, my brain shuts all the way down." Oh gosh. I smiled so big reading that. 'Cause sometimes the fix is so quiet. No crystals, no rituals, just darkness that stays still. Ever since Linda turned off that tiny red glow, she says her mornings feel different. Like Shay actually wakes up rested. No more dragging her feet to the coffee maker. No more fog sitting behind her eyes. "It's wild," she told me one day. "I thought I was just getting older. Turns out, I was just slightly overstimulated every night. That bulb? It was keeping my brain half awake, even when my body wanted to rest. And now, she swears her dreams are calmer. Her thoughts feel slower in the best way. Like her whole nervous system finally took a deep, deep breath. Not all light is gentle. Some of it whispers stay awake. Let's keep going, because there's another glow, hiding where you least expect." Ever noticed how your eyes always find the clock in the dark? It's not just about the time, it's about what it's doing to your sleep energy. You'd think checking the time is helpful, but in Feng Shui, that bright digital glow, it slowly turns your rest into countdowns. And your chi, it never fully lands. Oh gosh. For years, I had this red digital clock sitting right next to my pillow. Big numbers, bright glow, always facing me like some weird nightlight that never let go. At first, I thought it was helpful. I mean, how else would I know the time if I wake up? But I didn't realize how it was training my mind. Every time I stirred, even slightly, my eyes would snap open. 2:47 a.m., 3:39, 4:02, and each number hit me like a tiny panic attack. I started doing mental math in the dark. If I fall asleep now, I'll get 2.5 hours. Seriously? That's not rest. That's time anxiety, glowing in neon red right into my nervous system. And the weirdest part? I didn't even think it was the clock. I blamed coffee. I blamed stress. But the truth was, that little screen was low-key stealing my peace every single night. And the weirdest part? I thought I was being responsible. But every time I checked the time, my cortisol quietly spiked. My body got stuck in this loop. Wake, check, stress, fake sleep. And slowly, I started feeling tired all day. Even coffee felt dull, like my brain was buffering. One night, finally I had enough. I sat up, stared at that blazing red glow, and said out loud, "Okay, no more." So I unplugged it. For a second, I panicked. Like, what if I need the time? But then, I took a deep breath and decided to do something small. I moved it across the room. facing the wall, so I wouldn't see it even if I tried. Then I covered the screen with a little soft cloth, just enough to dim the numbers, but still hear the alarm in the morning. And wow, instantly, my bedroom felt quieter, softer, like that tiny glow had been humming anxiety all along. And now, it was finally gone. It wasn't a huge change. It didn't cost anything, but somehow it made my whole body exhale differently. My partner Rachel, she used to complain all the time about waking up tired no matter how early she slept. I remember one night at her place, I noticed her digital clock glowing like a tiny red UFO on the nightstand. I mean, gosh, it was bright. You could probably read a book by that thing. So I asked, "Hey, doesn't that mess with your sleep?" She shrugged. "I've had it there since college." Didn't even think about it. But later that week, she texted me, "Okay, I moved the clock." And dude, last night was the first time I didn't wake up to check the time. It felt so weird, but in a good way. A week later, she was full-on poetic. Told me she felt like her brain was floating on a quiet river instead of running a race at 3 a.m. All because she gave herself a break from one tiny lighted number. Now, Rachel swears she sleeps deeper. She says her dreams feel smoother, and her mornings a little less rushed. No more red glow. No more mental math at 2 a.m. Just stillness. And honestly, it's not just about better sleep. It's about reclaiming that quiet space your body's been craving all along. Sometimes, healing starts with turning your back on the things you thought were helping. Coming next, this one's about something hiding under your pillow. It glows pink, then blue, then suddenly green. Your room looks magical, but your mind can't find peace. We think soft lights help us relax. But when those lights keep shifting, your brain never fully lands. It stays half awake, half alert. At first, I thought the soft glow made things better. Those LED strips around my headboard, they shifted gently from peach to lavender, casting just enough color to feel cozy. I liked how it made the room look. A bit like those sleep sanctuary photos you see online. It felt modern, calming, even comforting. But over time, I started noticing how my eyes stayed just slightly open, almost tracking the changes without realizing. Some nights, the hue would shift to a strange green, lighting the ceiling like a low-key nightclub. Other times, a pale blue would fill the corners, cooling the whole space, maybe a little too much. I didn't think much of it. I just assumed it was part of winding down. But deep down, my body didn't seem to agree. There was always this quiet tension, like something was still moving. Nights blurred. I started waking up groggy, like I had been in light sleep the entire night. My dreams got fuzzy barely there, and I felt like my room had a heartbeat that wasn't mine. So one evening, after yet another restless night, I sat there quietly and just stared at the lights. They were shifting so subtly. Somehow, my chest felt tight, like my breath hadn't fully settled in days. I picked up the tiny remote, clicked through a few settings, and then paused everything on a soft amber glow. Just one color, still, steady. No cycling, no changing, just stillness. The room instantly felt warmer, like the air stopped buzzing. The next night, I decided to go further. I unplugged the lights completely. For a second, the room felt too dark. A little empty, but also deeply quiet. There was this gentle calm that wrapped around the bed, and it was the first time in a while I didn't feel like I was sleeping inside a screen. My neighbor, Carla, had these pastel LED vines around her bedroom window. Honestly, it looked straight out of a Pinterest board. One day, over coffee, she casually mentioned that she hadn't felt fully rested in weeks, even after 8 hours of sleep. So we did a little Feng Shui experiment together. She unplugged the lights and replaced them with a small salt lamp, warm, steady, and softly golden like candlelight. That first night, she texted me at 7:30 the next morning. "Girl, I actually woke up before my alarm. No headache, no weird dreams." She didn't expect much, but the stillness, it made a quiet difference. Sometimes it's not about changing everything. It's just about softening one thing that was doing too much. Now she turns everything off, except a tiny salt lamp dimmed to the lowest glow. She says her nights feel softer, like her body gets wrapped in quiet. And her dreams? They finally come back. Light isn't always lightness. Sometimes real peace begins in the dark. And yet some clutter doesn't glow. Some just sits there, silent but heavy. Let's look at the last thing we didn't realize we slept beside. Hey, ever notice how some mornings you wake up already tired? Not because you didn't sleep long enough, but like something quietly pulled your energy down. Could it be something right beside you? It's not your phone. It's not a charger this time. It's that everyday tote bag. The one you tossed next to your bed just for now. Receipts, mail, random stuff. But it never left. Oh, we all have one, don't we? That soft, slouched tote bagger may be a canvas carry-all, resting quietly beside the bed. At first, it's harmless. You're tired, it's late, and hey, just toss it there. Deal with it later. But later becomes next week, and then somehow it's just part of the room. Inside, receipts folded awkwardly, an old scarf with perfume that's long faded, loose papers, keys, a broken pen. Maybe a letter you never opened. The outside looks calm, but inside, it's a soft little storm. Unfinished things, forgotten thoughts. And without realizing it, you've made this quiet mess a sleep companion. Not noisy, not obvious, but always there like a soft whisper of chaos at your feet. Night after night, your body rests, but your mind, it's subtly trying to process clutter. You might feel heavy in your chest when you wake, like a gentle pressure you can't explain. Dreams get foggy. The air doesn't feel light. It's not dramatic, but it's there. So, one evening, you finally pause. You glance at the bag not with guilt, just curiosity. You kneel down slowly, unzip it carefully. And wow, it's like opening a quiet drawer of old decisions. There's a crumpled grocery list, a lipstick cap with no tube, a receipt from 3 months ago, all tucked in like they still belonged. You don't rush. You don't sigh. You simply start. Piece by piece, you sort through. Some things go to the trash. Some find their way back home. And suddenly, the bag feels lighter. Your room looks wider. There's air. You wipe down the corner gently. Set a soft cushion there instead, maybe even a plant. And just like that, the weight lifts. Not just the physical kind, but that quiet heaviness you didn't know was pulling you down. I remember this woman who messaged me one night. She said her dreams kept slipping into fragments, scattered, like half-remembered to-do lists, playing out in her sleep. Turns out, next to her bed, a cloth tote, soft but stuffed. Papers, a tangled charger, even an old envelope from her ex. She told me, "It's just a bag, I don't even notice it anymore." But then she cleared it out, slowly, carefully. She added a soft light, moved the tote to the hallway, and that very night, her sleep softened. She said the silence felt cleaner, the air cooler. Her dreams? They stitched themselves back together gently, like a story with an ending. Now, every time she walks into her room, there's space. The air feels still, but not empty just. Peaceful. She says her mornings feel less rushed, her thoughts less tangled, like her mind finally has somewhere soft to land. It wasn't a big renovation, no fancy ritual, just one small shift, and her whole flow started breathing again. Sometimes, the loudest energy comes from the quietest things. Okay, we've looked at what glows, what buzzes, and what simply sits. Now, let's gather all of it together. 1. Just take one soft glance at your nightstand tonight. Not with judgment, just curiosity. What's really living there? That charger with the blinking light? That stack of receipts you meant to sort? Even a glowing watch face can pull your energy silently. 2. Gently, slowly remove just one thing. Don't rush it. Let your hand move like you're clearing fog. Place it in a drawer or even outside your room. And while you do it, breathe. This isn't about fixing, it's about softening. 3. Replace it with a symbol of calm. A small ceramic bowl with water and sea salt. A smooth crystal, or simply nothing. Leave the space open. Let moonlight settle there if it can. And whisper to yourself, I make room for rest, for peace, for wealth to come in quietly. Sometimes, it's not the big furniture, not the paint color, not the crystals or coins. It's just that quiet little thing, right next to where you sleep, buzzing, blinking, distracting your energy when it's trying so hard to rest. So, tonight, just pause, notice, and if this felt like a soft reminder, share it with someone who also needs space to breathe. Comment below, I'm clearing space for peace. Your words might help someone else exhale. And hey, if you're still here, there's a whole playlist waiting for you. Everyday Feng Shui, where tiny fixes reset your whole flow. See you in the next breath.